Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video, I'm going to be making and decorating a new cover for my Perpetual calendar book. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so this is something that I use every month and it's a Perpetual calendar, but I don't like the cover on it and it's just not decorated nicely enough for me, so let's make a new one. So all I'm going to do is just open this up and take the, sorry, I had to get my hand under that, take the staples out. That's the first thing, and then we can start working on a new cover. Now as much as you can, if you can keep the staples, it tends to go back in again a bit easier, in my experience, if you use the same staple that came out. But if you don't, if you break it, that's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I'm just opening these up. Should just be able to push them out. There we go. Now you can do this with any kind of pre-done book. I tend to do it a lot with my TN notebooks. I'll put a new cover on them so they look a bit nicer, or so they suit everything else. Just try not to stab yourself with the staples because they are a bit sharp. Okay, cover gone. All that's going to happen is I'm going to lose the back end of my holidays and dates to remember for half of the year. I think that's okay because I don't tend to use them anyway because they're American holidays and I do Australian holidays. So I think for the cover, I think I want to use, do I want to use the cupcakes or do I want to use the confetti? Present, says Ryan. So then the next thing we need to do is we need to measure out how tall our book is. Actually, I like to fold it first because then it's folded and I can kind of work from there. So I find the easiest way to do this is actually just to fold it in half, and you do waste a little bit this way, but it's just a bit easier. It's just a bit easier. So again, to make it just that little bit easier, I'm just actually folding it. Then I'll bring my score tool in and score it properly so I get the nice score line. But at least then I know I'm in the middle. Don't know why that's so messy. I need to clean that up. It's leaving marks. I don't know why. So I'm just going to, no I'm not, because it's going to bring the colour off. So we'll just leave it. We'll fold this over. Score it down properly. Then we can start working out where this is going to sit. So the smart money will always use one of the edges. Grab a pencil. Just mark that out. And then I'm actually going to pull out my glass mat for a sec because I'm going to use that. I usually start with this on the table. I don't know why I started with it today. I'm going to use this to help me get this line straight. So I'm going to line it up with the mat. And then use just a little bit of washi tape to hold it still. And then I can use this to mark out my edges because this I know is straight. So go there, there. I should just be able to cut this with my trimmer. We'll line this up and see it's not. That's really scaring me. I'm going to cut it a little bit too big. I'm going to pull in those papers. This side's straight, so I'll go with that. It's always better to check. Remember, we measure once and measure twice and cut once. I did pay attention in woodworking class, I swear. It's a teensy bit small, just a teensy bit, but I'll live with it. It won't be too bad. It won't be too bad. Alright, so to put the holes back in, I'm going to line this up. And I have my mechanical pencil here. The reason we use mechanical pencil is because the little lead will go in the little holes a lot easier. So I'm just marking where the holes are. easy squeezy. And then you just need to get something sharp. Now, depending on what you have handy, something like this is good. It's just a little pick kind of thing, but a toothpick works too if you haven't got anything else. And I'm trying really hard to not do too big a holes. She says that she just does a huge hole. I'm trying to go slowly because I don't want the holes to be too large. Second one's much better. And then we can put this book back together. So we'll get the staples, slide them in, and they should be in, if they're not in exactly the right spot, they won't be far off of it, so it shouldn't be too hard to do this. And if you can do it in one hit, it's great to be able to put this back together with just one lot, but otherwise just do it one by one. It doesn't make any difference. I find coming in from the sides a bit easier, and then once you've got it, shut it. I'm just lining this up a little bit so that it can be right. And there we've got our brand new cover for our book. Now I know you're screaming at me going, well, you've left some stuff off the side. Did that on purpose because I want to be able to do it with these back in. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of extra room. Cut that side down. And then do the same thing on the other side. Now if that's not quite perfect, and you want to make it perfect, you get your cutting mat out and your steel ruler and just trim it using the ruler. That way they'll be exactly the same. This is only if you're pedantic. If you don't mind, it's fine to stay the way it was. But we know I'm pedantic, so. And then they'll be exactly the same. Easy. Oh, that's better already. I love that. But I can't just leave it like that. I have to do some decorating. So we're going to grab... Oh, I just remembered I meant to put in some vellum. Nah, doesn't matter. I was going to put in the sheet of vellum in the middle just for a bit of pizzazz or something, but I don't think it needs it. So I'm just going to grab the die cuts and the quote cards. I want to have the balloons. I know I want to have the balloons. The balloons may be a bit much, so I might add something behind the balloons. I want to leave that tag because I want to use that on a card. What have I got quote wise? Confetti all the things. Life should be celebrated. Celebrate everything every day. Don't forget to dance through life. Eat the cake. Cheers. So I'm going to get that pink. That pink. Might be a bit much. I'm gonna back this onto some of the pink and then just cut around it just so it's got an outline. It's just gonna be too, it'll get lost in there. Maybe it needs to be a little lighter pink. So I was just gonna do a square or a rectangle. No, it needs to be the dark pink. So I'm gonna mount this up. I'm actually gonna put it on a bit of foam tape. Because that's really difficult to do, I'm just going to tack this down just using a little bit of glue tape just to start with. Just put that down on there and then I'm going to cut out all around this, but I'm going to leave it's just going to be a little pink lip all around the outside. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to fussy cut it and I'll be right back. very little glue holding that still. Rub off the excess glue just using my fingers. And then I'm just going to put this up on some foam tape. The good thing is, because I was a little bit skinny on one side when I was doing that, but because we're going to move them anyway, it's going to actually work out for me. And the only thing I'm worried about is if my foam tape's going to be too thick to sit at the bottom there. Tape off. Time to stick this down. I'm just lining it up. There we go. Place that just on there. Now this tends to sit on the inside of my planner anyway. Maybe we could stamp birthdays on the front. As in, it tends to live in the inside pocket, so a little bit of extra height isn't going to hurt it. It's almost a shame that tag has something on it. It would be really cool to have not anything on it. I think if you can't get the hint that this is a birthday book from looking at it, I think you might be a bit silly. So I might just leave it alone. And if I come up with a way to add something to it later, I'll let you know. So I still think I'm happy with this. I think I like it on the left. I think. I'm just going to stick that down. Doesn't that look so much better than the old one? And again, if you don't like the extra cover, like if you want it to be a bit skinnier, just go back in with your knife and you can trim that up. The best thing about not giving yourself so much, or not trimming off that extra bit, is that you do have the room to do that. And then you can use the cover to write notes in there if you like, or people you need to send. Like if you do, certain people get cards and certain people don't, or things like that, you can add that in. You could always put yourself in a hooray or stamp something on the inside, but I'm going to leave it just like that. I know that's really simple, but I think that's such an effective way to use the paper and let the paper really speak. I think the papers are not unsung, certainly not by me, but I know that some people just love the stickers in the PA kits, and that's great. The stickers are fantastic, but I just love the papers. They're probably my favourite thing, and I love being able to show them off wherever I can. So that's it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. This technique can be used with any kind of paper, just an FYI. You don't have to use Planners Anonymous paper, obviously. So you can use it with any kind of pretty pattern paper you like. Just cut it down. You can make any kind of covers you like for any kind of book you like. So much fun to really personalise every one of your TN books. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, whatever you get up to, and I'll catch you in my next video. Sending lots of huggles.